Did we do 19 and 20 together?
Yeah. Wait, what? Where is
Does everybody see this spot in their notes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so factoring completely involves more than one factoring operation. We talked about this yesterday. We're going to practice it more today and let you kind of work on an assignment involving that. What do you take? Factoring completely always starts with taking out the greatest common factor. What is the greatest common factor? So you factor out x. Thank you. We factor out x, and we're left with x squared plus 2x minus 15. Once you take out the greatest common factor, you then look at it and say, is it a trinomial that I can factor? Is it the difference of two squares? Is it something else you can deal with? And in this case, you can. This is a trinomial. It factors to x and x. What are the two numbers that multiply to 15? Negative 15, excuse me, that add a positive 2. Negative 3 and positive 5. What is the greatest common factor for the next one? 5 and an x squared. Take out the 5 and the x squared. What are you left with? X squared minus 100. I'm very familiar with 100 because I have many $100 bills.
You got bands.
I've been together
Gets
this
us all the bands.
You got all that money to go around.
Yeah.
5x squared times, this is the difference of two squares, x plus 10, x minus 10. Not so familiar with the $10 bills. I just use those for kindling.
For what?
Starting a fire.
Well, you could give those to
Use them as tissues.
Tissues, yeah, I use them as tissues.
Use them as
Yeah.
Great way to save money.
I want you to try example 23 on your own. Try 23 on your own. So you can factor 23.
Yes. Saying I know how to use it.
What
What are you talking about? Talking about 18.
Okay, hopefully you took out the first factor. Got 7 times x squared minus 6x plus 9. How does x squared minus 6x plus 9 factor?
Minus 3 minus x minus 3.
So if you have x minus 3 times x minus 3, how else could you write that? Good. X minus 3 quantity squared. Very good. We're going to take a little bit different order here. We're going to do example 25 and 27 and then 26. We're going to do 24 at the end. What can I take out of the next one? A 2. Get x squared minus 49. It's not a trinomial. What is it? Difference of squares. That's our favorite because it factors nice and easy. X minus 7, x plus 7. You always hope for problems like that on the test because you know you can get those right. How about example 27? What's the common factor there? Got some bigger numbers here. 8x to the 5th. Okay? And when you take out that 8x to the 5th, you're left with x squared minus 4. That's also the difference of squares. That works out nicely. 8x to the 5th. Times x minus 2 times x plus 2. Okay, I wish I would have put this in a little bit different order. We're actually going to do example 24 down here, and I'll put 26 right up here. So So 26 I'm going to do above it, and 24 I'm going to put below it. 26, what's the common factor? Take out the x, you have x squared plus 10x.
Wait, what?
Plus 25. And does x squared plus 10x plus 25 factor?
I know, but wouldn't it be 25
Plus
x
five.
squared plus 10x?
We're
No,
doing
they're
number
doing
44.
24.
Oh my gosh, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Sorry, I'm lost.
X times x plus 5 times x plus 5, or x times x plus 5, that quantity squared. Okay? So let's go to the real challenging one. 24 is what gives people a little bit of a run for their money. Okay? What is the common factor for 24? It is a 5 and
5x.
an x. So I take out 5x, and I'm left with
5x squared.
5x squared minus 18x. Then what?
Minus 8.
Minus 8. Okay? And everybody looks at that trinomial that we have at the end there, and people see it, and they want to start to factor that. Well, the fact is that sometimes it factors, and sometimes it doesn't. But the factoring is different in this situation. And this is what we're going to practice on Monday. We have 5x, and then we split it up into two parts. Notice that there's a 5 in front of the x squared. That changes our factoring method. What two things multiply to 5x squared?
5x and 1x.
A 5x and a 1x. Nothing else multiplies to 5x squared, so I know it has to be a 5x and a 1x. There are no numbers that add to negative 8 that multiply to negative 18. When you have a number out front here like a 5, those factoring rules, they go out the window. We've got to just simply try things and see how they work. So, what are things that multiply to negative 8? Give me some options.
2 and 4.
Okay, so you're rather quick on that. It could be negative 2 and positive 4, or negative 4 and positive 2, right? Or it could be negative 1 and positive 8, or negative 8 and positive 1. Like, you got a lot of different combinations, don't you? What would you like to try?
Negative 4 or positive 2.
Let's try the negative 4, and let's try positive 2. And the way that you check that is you check the inside and the outside. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x, and 5x times 2 is 10x. Do those add up to 18x?
No.
They do not. So I know that that does not work. Now, my good friend Hannah so eloquently said, hey, you could switch that and it might have a chance of working then. So let's switch it and see what happens. What if I go a plus 2 and a minus 4? Let's see if that produces for me the negative 18x. I try the inside, which gives me 2x. I try the outside, which gives me negative 20x. And together that makes negative 18x. So that is correct. Now you don't have a lot of problems like that, but you do have a couple here and there, okay? But what you were able to do now within your homework, okay? You guys have done operations on polynomials. And if you flip to the next one, it says factoring binomials and trinomials completely, okay? So you should be able to start working on some of that right there, okay? And you are not required to, but if you would like to and have some extra practice, you could go ahead and try some of the level 3 problems, okay, for factoring. Level 3 problems for factoring, okay?
Wait, so what is it?
But for sure, do the factoring completely piece. See if you could try some of that, okay? So
Factor binomials.
Easy.
completely, yep. That'll be a good place to start right now. The answer key is up here for you to check out. And I am going to come around and help people with questions that they have.